And why shouldn't the likes of Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu cry on hearing a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Because he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself says that the Almighty Allah is saying, Al-kibriya'u ridai wal-azmatu izari man naza'ani wahidan minhuma alqayduhu fi an-nar. Al-kibriya'u ridai, majestic pride is my garment, is my robe. Wal-azmatu izari, and greatness, bigness, loftiness, splendor, this is my garment. And whoever competes with me for any one of these things, then I will not look at who he is. I will throw him in the fire of hell. Why? هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. He is the Almighty Allah. No God has the right to be worshipped but He. He is the knower of the seen and the unseen, the most merciful, the most kind. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. He is the Almighty Allah. No God has the right to be worshipped but Allah. He is the King of all kings. He is the pure. He is the holy, free from defects. He is the watcher over his subjects. He is the giver of peace. He is the giver of security. He is the Almighty Allah. He is the compeller. He is the supreme. Glory is to Allah. Allah is high and above all those that they associate as partners with Him. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. He is the Almighty Allah. He is the Creator. He is the Maker. He is the Fashioner. He is the Bestower and the Giver of forms. To Allah belong the beautiful names, and all those within the heavens and the earth glorify the Almighty Allah and recognize His greatness. He is the Almighty and He is the All-Wise. When a child is born, the first words that a child hears when he enters this world, the first message that is conveyed to a child, and the first message that is instilled and inscribed on his heart and mind is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest. When this child grows, every day from cradle to grave, this child is reminded of one message. The caller calls out, Muazzin calls out, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. O insan, remember Allah is the greatest and greatness is for Allah. O insan, respond and acknowledge that Allah is the greatest and greatness is for Allah. O insan, look around you. Every single thing within the heavens and the earth, every single thing within the universe, it testifies and it bears witness to this fact, and it will remind you that Allah is the greatest and greatness belongs to the Almighty Allah alone. Look at the creation of man. When you ponder over the creation of man, when you look at the eyes with which he sees, when you look at the ears with which he hears, when you look at the nose with which he smells, when you look at the tongue with which he tastes, when you look at the hands with which he grasps and touch, and the head with which he thinks, you will realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you look at something as simple as a rose, have you ever pondered? You will see this in every garden, yet this rose never stinks, yet this rose, it grows in filth, it grows in soil, it is fed with manure, manure stinks, it grows in an environment of dust and dirt, yet this rose never stinks. When you ponder over this, you will realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. Allah, when you look at the spider's web, and then you look at man, you look at the intelligence of man, and you look at his technology, you look at his advancements, you look at the tools he possesses, yet he cannot equal and make something as simple as a spider's web. You know that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you look at a silkworm, when you look at a bee, when you look at a goat, when you look at a deer, and you realize that all these four animals, all these four things, they eat from the same leaf, they eat from the mulberry. The leaf is exactly one, the color is the same, the taste is the same, the fragrance is the same, yet one eating this, it produces silk. The second eating this, it produces honey. The third eating this, it gives meat and milk. The fourth eating this, it gives musk. When you ponder over this, you realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you look above you, ash-shamsu wal-qamaru bi-husban, and you look at these great creations of the Almighty Allah, the sun and moon, and you ponder over their fixed courses, the Quran says, la shamsu yanbaghi laha an tudrika al-qamar wa al-laylu sabiqu an-nahar. Never will the sun go past the moon, and never does the night outstrip the day. When you ponder over this, you realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you look at the stars and trees, وَالنَّجْمُ وَالشَّجْرُ يَسْجُدَانِ, and you realize that even these stars and these trees prostrate before the Master, prostrate before the Almighty Allah. تَكَادُ السَّمَاوَاتُ يَتَفَطَّرْنَ مِنْهُ, and these great heavens above, even they are afraid of the Almighty Allah. When you ponder over this, you realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you ponder of the verse of the Quran, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا يَعْلَمُ مُسْتَقَرَّهَا وَمُسْتَوْدَعَهَا كُلًّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ, and you realize that He provides for every single fish and animal in the ocean. He provides for every bird in the sky. He provides for every creature on land, small or big. You will realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you look at this great heaven above you, وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا, the size of which your mind and my mind cannot even comprehend. Allahu Akbar. And then you look around you, there is not a single pillar to holding this heaven. When you ponder over this, you will realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you ponder of the verse of the Quran, كَمَرَجَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ يَلْتَقِيَانِ بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ هَذَا عَذْبٌ فُرَاتٌ وَهَذَا مِلْءٌ أُجَاجٌ, that He has let forth two seas. One sea is of salty water, the other is of sweet water, and these seas meet together. The salty water meets with the sweet water, but the salty water, it doesn't cross onto the sweet side, and the sweet water doesn't cross over to the salty side. When you ponder over this, you will realize that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. Open the book of Allah and keep on reciting the verses of the Quran. قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. If on this earth, if every tree on this earth was to become a pen, and all the oceans were to become ink, the oceans would be exhausted, they would come to an end, but the words of Allah would never come to an end. When you realize this, you know greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you realize how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam right from the seabed, in the darkness of the ocean, in the darkness of the night, in the stomach of the fish, he calls out, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin, and the Almighty Allah hears and responds. When you ponder over this, you know that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you ponder over the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, how Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, he takes four birds, he slaughters them, and then he cuts these birds into pieces, he cuts them into flesh, and then he takes this meat, he puts them on different mountains, and then he keeps the heads under his feet, and then he calls them in the name of Allah. How this meat gets together, and how these birds without their heads come walking to his feet, and then they take their own heads and they place it on their shoulders. When you ponder over this, you know that the greatness is for the Almighty Allah. When you look at the Niagara Falls and how it looks like a mountain of water, and then when you ponder over how the sea parted and it gave way to the likes of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and the Bani Israel, and how it became two mountains of water, one on either side, and according to the Torah, 600,000 people make this crossing. Who was holding that water? Mountains of water. When you ponder over this, you realize that the greatness is for Allah. Huwa al-awwal wal-akhir wal-zahir wal-batin wa huwa bikulli shay'in alim. He is the Almighty Allah. Huwa al-awwal, He is the first, there is nothing before Him. Wal-akhir, He is the last, there is nothing after Him. Wal-zahir, He is the all high, there is nothing above Him. Wal-batin, He is the most near, nothing is more near than Him. Wa huwa bikulli shay'in alim. alim. He is the knower of all things. Ponder over the knowledge of Allah, and khuda qasam, here and now you will begin to prostrate before the Master.